me out, please.
Tyler's right. Rap discourse has become one huge circle jerk. This clip from a recent Tylerthecreator interview has been blowing up. TV play clip.
The big three, they talking about the Drake Kendrick Coles. He wouldn't go for it. He says
Bro,
the only thing.
Who gives a hey? And you know what annoys me when people are like, "This is my top 5," and people argue it. Like, you got 17-year-olds like, yeah, like, dude, Ready to Die and Enter the Wu-Tang is my top 10 album ever. I'm like, bro, you just got hair on your dick. Stop. It's performative. It's like that's your. And again, some people might be right.
Coming into this media journalism thing, you tend to see the same discussion float around. Rankings, top 10s, top 3s, who's the GOAT, etc. And if a certain few artists are off that list, you are immediately invalidated. Having a majority of the discussion around music be vastly objective, when it's a subjective medium at its core, stagnates the genre and cripples further growth within the communities.
I don't think I feel well.
I feel like people ignored a few very important points within this clip, so let's break down a couple of them.
Pretty much everything Tyler puts forward in this part of the interview is silly and gobbledygook and kind of dumb.
Oh, and there's a dangerous narrative that was misinterpreted from this clip. I'll definitely be mentioning that as well. Let's get into this. Validation has become damn near a cancer that is seeped into the discussion of music. Like I was saying previously, your opinion and credibility in a music discussion nowadays is deeply dependent on having a certain few artists in your rotation. They're like Egyptian god cards of narratives and topics online.
You've allowed me to assemble the 3 strongest and most feared creatures in Duel Monsters.
Talking about Drake, Kendrick, Cole can immediately bring a topic numbers in a hip-hop based discussion. Double it if you're putting them up against each other. This has become a double-edged sword in media, and it sucks because these conversations used to have some sort of construction to them. Like having a certain rapper over one another or putting them in a certain order used to show what aspect you personally value about music you listen to. These conversations became pointless the minute we started associating numbers with talent. 2016 should have been a very important lesson in showing people that buzz and popularity can just as easily inflate your numbers, if not inflate them faster. And simply saying someone is the best because majority of people think so completely defeats the purpose of the conversation. You know how your teacher told you to show your work? I want to see the equation that got you thinking Drake is over Kanye. Anyway, having a top 3 or an objective top 3 is completely fine. It's only a problem when numbers and outside opinion are a large reason in why your tops are your tops. You only show us that you like big numbers and being right about things, and funny enough, that makes you wrong about both. Having originality or your own personal spin on your favorites and objective favorites adds that nuance and flavor to the conversations.
I'm special!
Knowing that Kendrick is in both your personal and objective top 10 or whatever just shows the style of rap, flow, perspective you value with music, and people can look towards you for music opinions that float around in that space of conversation, or completely avoid your ass.
Get out of here!
And as far as seeking validation, it can be achieved through the accuracy and honesty of your opinion. If people can trust you for certain consistency or transparency with what you say, it further validates your words in the discussion. Who cares that blank outsold blank? Tell me why you think J. Cole is better at making love songs than Drake. Which leads me to my next point. Mr. Mellon himself, Smurthany Fantano, had a few opinions on what Tyler said. While I didn't think what he was saying was wrong, it was only because of the context he presented them in. Fantano is only taking into consideration the one clip and not the whole interview. He's so laser focused on this contextless clip he misses the main points of what Tyler was trying to complain about. Tyler isn't saying you can't enjoy music from a different era, rather people are being performative by putting together this so-called objective list and looking for validation for their opinion. Again, art is only subjective. Tyler is encouraging people to not be afraid to enjoy the weirder or less traditional artists. Jamiroquai and Youngboy were poor examples from him. People that normally wouldn't be found in top 5s or top 10s or whatever would have probably been a better fit. If you like Biggie or Tupac, that's great. I'm sure both Fantano and Tyler both feel you shouldn't feel pressure to include them into your favorites because that's the objectively correct choice, according to others. This dishonesty in music leads me to my next point. There's definitely this hive mind mentality between fans and critics critics that an artist or album is only worth talking about if it's really bad or really polarizing to a certain group. You can respect an opinion, but for the love of God, please at least defend or mention things you like. You are a fan, they are the critics. I'll never tell people like Fantano or anyone they are wrong about their opinions, because mine is just as valid, regardless, even if I agree with them a week later or not. Like what you like and feel comfortable talking about what catches your ear, regardless of poor reviews or being the unpopular opinion. Speak up. You give the artist courage to go in different directions. That's the fun of this whole thing.
I like it a lot.
Now with liking comes gatekeeping.
Look, brother, it's been ages, but we finally have company. I see that. We must entertain our guest. You're right.
It's not weird to like music outside of your age range. It's weird to gatekeep and like that music for attention. It used to confuse me on how you can get picked on for liking the same artist as someone, and now I realize it's just a certain group's mentality to develop their whole personality off a certain aesthetic within music and try to categorize or alienate casuals or newbies. I don't think they realize they take money off the plates of the artists they so-called ride or die for by making toxic communities and seeking validation through having knowledge of leaked or older music. Your artist wants the mainstream attention, to some extent. Looking at you, No Name. Also, it's fine if your personality revolves around a certain aspect of music, but I feel like there's so much more fun in being the person to put people on and not be the person putting people off by trying to test their level of dedication or knowledge of older music. And along with the gatekeeping is the cynicism behind liking certain niches of music. This is the main negative narrative surrounding that Tyler clip. I for one do believe there are people out there that legitimately like music outside of their age range. Tyler even said he was one of them. So it confuses me that people think he said he hated people like that. But I also believe there are people out there that only say they like old music for validation. Again, those are the people I feel Tyler was scorning in the clip, because they aren't being honest with themselves and whoever is being roped into a discussion with them. But I'm also aware that you will go insane trying to define people like that. So why bother? The same people you call out for being dishonest can flip out and call you an elitist, snob, hipster, etc. But also a person that only likes Drake because of his numbers can be pointed out just as easily as someone who only likes To Pimp a Butterfly because it's been critically acclaimed. It all comes out in the discussion, and that is what I feel people should start looking for in these so-called objective opinions and conversations. Honesty over popularity, feeling over numbers. That's the flavor we are missing in today's music media conversation, and I don't blame Tyler for voicing his frustrations. Music is not the NBA, and I don't think it's exactly fair to judge artists solely based off their accolades. They contribute so much more outside of their numerical achievements. Well, that's all I got for the topic. Of course, let me know what you think, and give this a like and a comment. It would be dope to open up the table on this discussion. Oddman out.